podcast. Get your fill, financial independence and long life. And today, for only the second time in our history, we are live. And this time it's even more exciting because we're streaming, because Marquesa Petway, our guest today, is the Zoom queen. She knows everything about Zoom, and she teaches people, among her other jobs for a living, how to use Zoom properly. And like, talk about being perfectly positioned for a pandemic. And if you were listening, it'd be a couple weeks ago now, if you were listening to MJ, when we had MJ Calloway on, she was talking about how she got the idea for Bounce Up, and she credited Marquesa because one of Marquesa's other hats is she's a business coach, and she helped basically to everything that MJ is talking about right now came from Marquesa's brain. So Marquesa, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because, like I said, you are a many-hatted person.
She said a many-hatted. Christine's creating word. And guys, just so you know, Christine is a financial genius. She does all of the. She's always been so modest. That is a trait that I wish for.
It's overrated, believe me.
Believe me. I think if people, had to describe me, think of what would be the adjectives, that would come way down the list, if anywhere at all. But you certainly are. We were mastermind partners for years, and but Christine is an investment genius, financial genius. She knows how to take money, put it into real estate, and help you make millions. She's amazing. So I got to get to you soon so I can so you can take me to the next level with the money. But anyway, she called me up and asked me, girl, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything before the end of the year. And she says, well, I want you to talk about your end of year process. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll do it. So it's hard for me to turn it down. But for those of you, and Christine, while I'm talking, go ahead and go to my page and share it to your page.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you can do that. But for those of you that may not know me, my name is Marquesa Petway. My bigger umbrella, I'm a business reinvention expert. So I help entrepreneurs and speakerpreneurs and all different types of professionals grow their business. And really, to be even more so, I call it their lifestyle business, because Christine knows this from years ago, 15 years ago. I've been in business 15 years full time. When I first got in business, I remember being so excited because I got a chance to speak all over the country in front of awesome audiences. It was so cool because this was straight out of corporate America. I got downsized. I was one of those, and I said, I'm living my dream. Like, oh my gosh. And I was in a different city every day, and it was so cool, but it was hard. I gained a ton of weight. I had no life. And as much as I love what I did, I was miserable. So it was important to me. I know that a seed was planted for me to create a business I love. Otherwise, why am I working for myself? It makes no sense. So that's why, so of course the professional speaker will always be there, and I speak to grow, speak to attract. Speaking is my thing. But if you want to know where my secret sauce is, it's really helping entrepreneurs grow that lifestyle business where they can work from anywhere. And I did this before the pandemic. And in order for me to make this happen, Zoom is my baby, y'all. If it was a man, I wouldn't be single. I always say that. If Zoom was a man, I would not be single. So I help you figure out the platform, the systems, the business model, and all of those moving parts. And feel free to check me out at zoomqueen.com. So that's like the short version of what I do.
The best thing, one of the things, the reason, so in addition to, Marquesa always like bubbles into my mind from time to time, even though we haven't been in touch that much in the last, year or so. And of course, talking to MJ, brought all that back. But then I always think of you this time of year anyway, because of and I did this last year, and it was fantastic. Marquesa does what she says, what she calls going underground, And can you just talk a little bit about what that is all about? Because that was one of the best New Year's of my life when I did that.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my!
it
And
was
I love that
fantastic.
you remembered that,
Oh
Christine.
my God, yes. Oh yeah. I have a property in New Hampshire. It's a 200-year-old schoolhouse, and the whole wall is a chalkboard. And I went up there for 2 weeks by myself, and I just wrote, all kinds of stuff on the chalkboard. I like downloaded my brain things like what happened this year that was great, what happened this year that sucked, and just really it was just a fantastic way to kick it off. But
Well, you named it. This is something I teach all of my clients, and I had the pleasure of serving Christine years ago with MJ, who she referenced earlier. This is a practice of the 15 years I've been in business. This is a practice I've had for, golly gee whiz, I want to say about 7 or 8 years, somewhere in there. And I have to credit, one of my coaches. I remember I was so inspired by her because she would take off the summer every year and they would go to their lake house in the woods. And she said, "Oh, I would take off 3 months a year every summer." And I would go, "Huh." And then I had another coach who lived on the beach, and that became a part of her lifestyle. So I think every piece of me pulls something from something I learned in the past. And I decided, wait a minute, when I was an employee, I had to designate which weeks I was going to take off. You remember those days?
yeah,
You had to designate, I'm
let's
going
go
to take
back to
off, yeah, the week before, after Christmas, before whatever. You had to figure out which weeks that would happen when you would do that. And then when I start working for myself, then you work so much and you look up and you go, I really don't take off. If not, I work even more because
right,
you
exactly.
wear so many hats. You're doing all these moving parts.
Yeah.
And I got it, especially in the first, I'd say 5 to 6 years I was in business, please. Well, what's the vacation? What's that?
My saying, Marquesa, my saying was, I work for myself and my boss is a bitch.
Exactly. And you, because it's your baby,
Yeah,
and you want to make sure everything goes great and all that good
right.
stuff. But again, another valuable lesson that I learned is early on, and maybe it was because I was so miserable, life wise, not, I loved what I did. I just didn't like the way I did it, which is odd. I just didn't. I didn't like that I was speaking several hours, hopping in the car, driving to the next city, laying down my head a little bit, eating the worst food, any food I get my hands on, and then doing it over and over again 4 to 5 days in a row. And I kind of almost felt like I wasn't being authentic because I was so happy and so excited in front of my audience. And believe you me, that was all real. But deep inside, I was drowning because I was exhausted and not eating right and all those different types of things.
Yeah.
So a big decision I made less than 10 years ago in my business was, what can I do that that will serve a purpose in my business, while allowing my body and my mind to rest a little bit. So I really didn't want to, it's not really a vacation. It's just like what you said, is underground. And my friends laugh at me when I say that, like, girl, you going underground? I'm like, I'm going underground. And what it is kind of like my own personal business incubation period, where I do a little bit of reflecting, personal reflecting, where I ask myself those questions you just went through. What really worked well? I mean, I have a whole thick guide that I go through, that I share with my clients, with these are the questions to ask yourself when you're in that period of time. And I would ask myself, again, questions to help me decide, am I happy with where I'm at in my life, in my business? Am I happy with who I serve? Am I happy with how I serve? And if not, what do I need to change? What do I want to do more of? What do I want to do less of? What sucked? What was fabulous? And all of these different questions. And I needed the time and space to address it. And some people may say, well, why do you got to be all incubated to do it? Why do you got to, kind of, well, not incubate is not the word, but what? Yeah, kind of like an incubator. Why do you
Isolated, but you do
isolate it
though.
to do
You
it?
do because otherwise you can't, it just requires concentration.
There
And
you
you
go.
got to get your mind, has to start. When I first started, when I first got to the cabin and was just thinking about stuff, I wrote down, oh, okay, so what was a challenge last year? And then I started to think about some stuff. I'm like, oh my God, what a rough year I had. It was actually 2 years ago that I did it. And I thought, wow, no wonder, I haven't done everything I want to do this year. When I started to really think about some of the things, my dad had a stroke that year. The, I was living with my boyfriend and he moved out because, of some challenges that we were having. And I mean, like, wow, look at all this drama, I just didn't really think about it until I got up and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I can give myself a little slack because that was a really rough year.
And that's the thing. You need time to do that. And I know for me, I'm easily distracted.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
never been diagnosed, but I jokingly will say that I have ADD, where I struggle to focus. And here's another thing: you're either working in your business or on your business, and day to day you may be doing a little bit of both. I know for me, I have certain days designated where I'm working on my business, which means I'm working on my systems or things my clients need or the products or whatever, or I'm doing a lot of prep for my speaking engagement, but I'm working on stuff. And in your business means you're serving your clients. That means that's when you're actually speaking and coaching and leading and facilitating and all those awesome things that we get to do.
Yeah.
But during the underground time, the working in your business is put on hold. So it requires preparation. And here's the thing, Christine, and this is for everyone that's listening. You decide how long that period is going to be. When I first started to do it, I remember me and a few other speakers would go to some awesome resort or cute little hotel, and they got all types. And we would go and check in, say, on a Thursday evening and then check out on a Sunday. And then we'd have a suite, and then we'd put things up on the wall. I mean, and all sorts of things. So it can be a long weekend with a small group. It can be by yourself. And it can be like me, where it turns into 4 to 6 weeks
Wow.
of doing it. So that's what I do. 4 to 6 weeks of it is usually in January, and I come back in February. And I chose January because people think you're nuts. That's the beginning of the year, girl. What's going on? Why are you doing that? And it's because the end of the year is so busy. And I do it again in the summer. So you got to strategically choose it. Plus, I turn a year older in January. So
Oh,
kind of
happy
gives
birthday.
me, thank you, gives me, thank you, I think. It gives me, because I'm older now, Christine, I'm older. But it gives me time to really think things through. So the bigger message is, if you work for yourself, even if you don't, but if you work for yourself, to have taking that time to really think through your business and identifying what worked and what didn't work can make all the difference and give you so much clarity for the upcoming season.
And do you just do business stuff or do you do any kind of personal reflection during that time?
I do personal stuff too. I do. Because you know why? I have a lifestyle business. Everything is sort of wrapped into each other on purpose in a way. Now, I do try to distinguish the two from each other, but such a good question, because this is also a time, because frankly, if I just do all business, I'm going to burn myself out. So I need time. So I will divide my time where I'll say, all right, Marquesa, you're going to work 6 hours today, where you're going to work on one particular project. And by the way, I designate what are those projects. Like, I know this time around, I have a lot of websites and I'm doing a huge hub website, if you will, for my leveled up brand that happened this year. So, and I tried so bad to work with the team I hired to do it this year, and it was never any time. It was so hard because, I mean, they are brilliant. They Googled me. They did everything they could to put that sucker together. And I'm up here like, tomorrow. And tomorrow never came because I was always so busy. You get me? So now that when I go underground, I got hours to focus on that and get it right. so that I'm not scattered. Same thing with writing a book. I have a hard time stopping, starting. It just doesn't work that well for me. So I have that project time, and after that's done, then I go and I have some personal time. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And you know what? I'm single, and it works for me. I love that. And lately, Christine, I love kitchen gadgets. I love to, like, I got it. What is that thing called? I still don't know what it's called. I got smart instant cooker.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like an instant cooker. I have that. I have a Tavola. I love breakfast so much. I got something to make egg sandwiches. That's how much I love breakfast. It is good. It makes poached eggs so perfectly. It makes boiled eggs. And then it's a little bit. It costs like $10 on Amazon. Or you can make an egg sandwich. That brings me joy. Oh, and Splendid Spoon, so because I don't want to gain all that weight back again. Now I put on a little bit of weight like everybody else, during the whole pandemic thing. So I got some work to do to get that weight off.
That can be a New Year's resolution.
something. But it's so important for me to take that personal time and map it out. And I go underground at times with my team. This year I'm going to do it with my team. Last year I didn't. The year before I did. So it alternates. But this year I get to do it with my team, which helps me stay even more focused and intentional. I set the goals. I know the goal. What's going to happen when you come up? What's going to be done? And then you got to prepare your clients. You got to prepare your business. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to still have client conversations or still do a little bit, but maybe I'm not on social media as much. Maybe I'm not. And if the pandemic wasn't happening, I wouldn't be hanging out with people. So there's certain activities that I will not do because I got to protect that time. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you stay home pretty much the whole time?
I do. I have a lovely place in New York City, and it's big, or big for me. I guess it's probably not big in everybody else's world, but plus I live uptown, so I got a little bit more space than some of my colleagues and friends that live in Midtown. But yeah, everything I need is here. Everything I need is here. But in the past, to your question, I have traveled to work underground, especially if it was with somebody else and I have videos traveling to do my own VIP weekend underground by myself. And get this, and you know this, Christine, you know this very well. I also go underground with my clients. Yeah.
Again, I'm aware of your VIP weekends and great getaways and stuff, and we had a fantastic day together. And it's true, you just, when everybody's on the same page and everybody's energy is focused toward creating or achieving some specific goal, it's amazing what gets done. It's amazing the ideas that come up. And yeah, you just since we're talking about your apartment, I just want to comment on that wall behind you. I am in love with that wall. Oh my God.
Thank you. Well, as you know, I love Zoom virtual backgrounds, and I brand them and I do all these funky things with them. But when was it? October? It was October where I was asked to do a speaking tour, virtual speaking tour, of course, but it was different cities for a small business expo. And I was so excited until I found out they didn't use Zoom.
Oh my God, really?
No, they didn't. But you know what? Not that I recommend that. I guess for their situation, because they had a whole lot of speakers that they had to deal with, and they needed something that was back to back to back to back. Zoom would have been a lot more involved, put it that way. Yeah. To do what they were trying to do, because it was so back to back to back. So anyway, they use another platform that will remain nameless, and that platform did not accommodate virtual backgrounds. So I was kind of forced to create, to make my own regular background. As you can see, I was telling you earlier, I got all my little toys. I said, I need an apple because I'm in the Big Apple, but Tiffany's is my favorite color, home good, y'all. I love that. I got my candles, my flowers, and yeah. So it's like I have a lot of fun. And then I didn't actually paint this. This is a backdrop that I purchased. So it's my
Oh,
part. It's kind of like how my brain is, just all over the place.
a little this, a little that. Yeah. This is the flowery section. This is the,
Yes, candles, and yeah, this is really. I mean, even one of my coaches, I loved that she has a very popular YouTube channel, and she had this, and I remember looking at that, going, "That's hot! I like that. That's cool." It's not like it really works, but it's cute. I like it inspires me. And I put it this way, I've never been so in love with my audience. So I went from being mad at them for being on that platform. And it's so ironic because my subject on the tour was how to leverage Zoom to grow your business. So although I was on a different platform, I was still talking about Zoom. It was so funny. I was bringing everybody over to Zoom. They were like, okay. But yeah, it's cool, and it kind of goes with, and here to this point too, this is also a time where maybe I'll do little things like decluttering, just setting myself up, because I just don't have time to do this stuff during the year. On the weekends I'm tired, or maybe I'm working on projects, you know the deal.
yes.
So it matters. And only thing is, guys, if you decide to do this on your own, just set 3 priorities. Don't try to say I'm gonna do 15,000 things unless you're gonna be underground the whole year. Set
Right.
3, set 3 priorities. What are 3 big things that require deep thought, deep focus, like writing a book, or finishing a website, working with a team, or whether you do yours on your own, or creating a membership group, or even writing a keynote, or what is something that requires deep focus. And then while you're doing it, it's a good opportunity. I love calendars. I'm addicted to. Are you addicted to calendars?
I'm not addicted, but my calendar is my Bible. If it's not in the calendar, it can't happen.
Exactly. You need it to happen. So I love calendars, and this is a time for me to sort of set it up for the remainder of the year. And just to be clear, I do an end of year retreat. Christine noticed I do an end of year retreat. We just finished it. What was it? 2 weeks ago? I've lost count. A week or so ago. It was on December the 18th, I think it was. It was a 3-hour virtual retreat. And that's when I have my clients complete their end of year business report card.
hmm
So this is where they give themselves grades on how did I do with marketing? How did I do with selling? How did I do with branding? How did I do all those different buckets that are important to entrepreneurs or speakerpreneurs like us? And then they really write down reasons for this. So again, I do the exact same thing. Whatever I teach, I do myself. And then I take that information and use it to make decisions on what I'm going to focus on for the next year, in addition to what am I going to focus on when I'm underground. So it's kind of like a whole process that really begins in late November.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So no wonder you're so successful, because you're spending at least, right? It's almost 3 months by the time you're done between closing down the prior year and bringing up the new year.
Yeah.
And you get it. It's so easy just to keep going, right? Just to keep running along and trying to keep up with all your business and all that kind of stuff, and never
Mhm.
stopping and saying, okay, wait a minute. Is this serving me? Do I like this? Am I enjoying this? Or am I just making busy work for myself here?
I agree. And if we've learned anything this year, Christine, we've learned that life is precious. I lost family this year. My
Right.
sister got COVID. Thank God she's okay. I
Mhm.
remember she was in the hospital and called me while I was speaking in Las Vegas. And I was
Mhm.
about, I don't know, a few minutes from going on stage to speak. And I got a message on my phone, and normally I'll just send it. And they know if I'm not answering, I can't, it's a reason why I can't answer it. And then
Right.
she texts me, "Oh, I'm in the hospital." And I knew she was dealing with COVID, but I didn't know how much it had progressed. And she was
Yeah.
like, "Because I can't really breathe." And of course, I'm like, Of course, I can't go on stage and focus at that moment." And thank goodness there was still another speaker up there. So they hadn't started the intro or anything yet. So I kind of hopped out real quick, and Gave her a call, and talked her through it, and they gave her steroids, and she went home, and thank goodness she healed from that. Not only did she have it, but her fiance had it as well.
Wow.
So that
Was that early on?
that was her, yeah, early on. It
Yeah.
was this when was I in Vegas? I was in Vegas. Everything hit in March. I think I want to say I went to Vegas, I think May or somewhere in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
somewhere in there. And or somewhere in there. So yeah, somewhere, I can't remember the exact timing.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, this year has just been, it's just taught us, all of us, how precious life is, because it hurts to say this, but so many people did not make it.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it to 2021. So many people we love, so many friends, oh my goodness, so many people. So that's why I think it's even more important to respect your time, and plan it, and respect what it is you do. Nothing is perfect. You're going to have things are going to mess up. You can plan until you're blue in the face. Things aren't going to work, but it just feels so much better. You know what I mean? And it kicks that mindset. Remember, in our mastermind, Christine and I were in the Think and Grow Rich mastermind for Black NSA for years.
Yes.
And
Fantastic experience.
and if you guys ever want to join the mastermind, it's going to start again in, I don't even know, was it February or March? And you can go to blacknsaspeaker.org, blacknsaspeaker.org. And anyway, some of the principles that you learn from Think and Grow Rich is, it's all about that mindset, honey.
Yeah. We actually, a couple months ago, I had like a 4 or 5 part millionaire mindset series on the podcast. That's it. I probably say this every episode, but all the tools, right? There's no secret of how to get rich, right? You just go to any library and pull out any book, and there's like, everybody who's ever got rich has told you how they did it. But if we're not doing that, if we're not already rich, then why not? It's our mindset. It has to, it's all up here, right? We're our own worst enemies.
Oh my goodness, yes. I agree. You'll say, "Oh, I'll do it," and you don't do it. Same thing with weight gain. I've been a Weight Watchers member for a while now, and when I'm good, I'm good, and when I'm bad, I'm bad. So what's cool about Underground too is I get a chance to reset. My church, we are a certain type of fasting. We're not doing the Daniel fast, but certain type of fasting starting January the 4th. And it goes to, I always say, to my birthday. Because I got to have some kind of cake on my birthday. My birthday is towards the end of the month. And, but I like that reset. And this year I'm going to do it, although I don't think I can do the sugar part, but mindset, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give up the sugar.
I gave up candy for 2020.
You did? You haven't had candy all of 2020?
Nope.
Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was interesting. I really didn't know. Because I'll be honest with you, I typically eat a lot of candy. And I thought, wow, is this something I'm going to be able to accomplish? And, how's it going to feel? And am I going to feel 100 times better that I didn't have any? But I didn't give up sugar altogether. I just gave up candy. And so I still had like maple syrup on my pancakes or whatever. So I think in order to get the true 100% benefit, I would have to just say no sugar. But that's in everything. I have to.
It is in everything. Like, who knew?
Everything.
It's in everything.
I can't be an ingredient reader, right? I can't sit there and read every flipping thing. Oh, look at this. My ketchup has sugar. I can't have ketchup now. You're like, no.
Who knew? I really thought I was so
Everything.
naive when I first tried to go without sugar, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's tougher than you think. But what I love about what you did is you said, okay, maybe the whole sugar thing is too big of a goal, but let me break it down. Smart goal. That's a smart goal. Let me break it down into something I can do. Because as you were saying that you gave up candy, I said to myself, well, darn it, I think I had more candy this year than I've ever had. And I'm not a big candy person. Now, I love cupcakes. I'm addicted. My family, please, we don't even need a holiday. We're like, what? Whoa, it's the third Saturday of the month. Cake. It's what? It's morning, cake. We love cake. Cake every day, all day. So if I can give up some cake, I'm doing good. So
Well, you know what helped? I actually read a book since while I was doing this, I read a book that said that it's a cop out, like it's easier to just say, I'm never going to eat this thing again. But I did not find that. I found that like when I got to the point where I was like, some days I would think, oh, I really want this thing. I'd be like, it's just a year, right? January, go right over there and have another. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
it actually helped me to know that there was a deadline. I said, you can do this for a year, you can do this for a few. So I don't know. I think whatever you do, Marquesa, I know that if you put your energy and your focus in it, you'll 100% accomplish it.
And I'm determined this. Yeah, I think a lot of us are, right? We're like, wait a minute, because we felt so limited. It's a small word, right? This year, but man, oh man, the lessons though. I'm the glass half full kind of person.
Yeah.
The lessons that came out of this year. Oh my goodness, from the way women are treated to social justice for people of color. Yes, there's systematic racism. Hello, it exists, I mean, all of these lessons that come out. Oh my goodness, from, okay, what if you can't just go out? I mean, my goodness, we can't even hug each other. Not really. No, we can't hug each other. When I walk downstairs, I have to put on a mat, just to go out to the mailbox. And occasionally I may forget it. And I'll literally, as soon as I see a person, I go, because at times I have a small building, 6 floors, 5 apartments or 5 units per floor. So there is absolutely times where I can go down, take the elevator down and not see a person, not see any of my neighbors. But that's how we're just living during a different lifetime, and this is supposed to go possibly, throughout 2021. Hopefully, maybe by mid 2021, things start to get to a better normal, But yeah.
Well, I would think once a certain number of people start getting the vaccine, that would be right. And wouldn't you think that things would be able to get back to
Yeah.
normal at that point?
And one of my friends just told me the other day that he got the vaccine. So I'm watching. I'm thinking, and we gotta wait. Now I'm in New York City right now. LA, I think, is the epicenter. But yeah, it's rolling. But bottom line is, right now, I think more than ever, you have to respect your time as much as you can. And if you run your own business, you need that time to just reflect, and kind of re-engineer your focus. And I call it that refocus, where you're going to go moving forward. And it just makes your year so much better. It really does. And 2020 was a doozy for me. It was because of my Zoom expertise. It benefited my business per se, but it still was big. So I need that time to kind of sit down and take inventory and just really make some decisions on, so what does that mean for the upcoming year. So I hope your listeners and my listeners too will get inspired by both of us and take that. And again, it doesn't have to be 6 weeks. It doesn't have to be a whole weekend. It can be a half a day. Just do it. Just take some time to really just have that time where you're deciding, no distractions. I want to make some big decisions for my business and do it.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point, because I do think I think, maybe we didn't you think this has to be epic, right? Oh, I have to take a month and go like into a cave and not think about anything and turn off all my social media. But you're right. Even one, a half a day, if you just take that half day and you focus. And I've been the last 2 years I've been going to Anne McNeil's annual retreat.
I love Anne.
I do too. One of the things that she has us do, which I found to be extremely powerful, is our annual report. You ever go to her thing? Yeah, I'm
Yes, I have. It was in Boca something.
Boca. Yeah, it's always in Boca, or at
Boca,
least
yeah.
I think it's always in Boca. With my huge experience of 2 years.
Well, you know, she does it for the mastermind too. Not at the level she does it for her live retreat.
Yeah,
But you know, for your listeners, I don't remember Ann's website, but just look under our friends
I think
list,
it's
Ann McNeil.
sammmcneil.com.
Oh,
Yeah,
annmcneil.com. But yeah, she does it quite well, and it's a different kind of. Hers is really, she loves Ann and money and investing. You guys are all in that circle. I have never. You and Ann are my two friends that know more about money than Federal Reserve. You guys got the money thing down.
yeah. We're
Like,
waiting
this
for
is
your
what you
phone call,
invest.
my
This is
brother.
what you do. Yeah, you
You
got
know
that
what? I'll
money
send
thing
you a
down.
copy of my book
Oh
later
my
on.
God!
When you get a chance,
Congratulations.
go into the go back to Messenger and just shoot me your address, and I'll send you the
Okay.
copy of my book, Empower Your Inner Millionaire:
Yay!
Guide to Financial Freedom Through Real Estate Investing.
I love it. I want to invest in real estate. You know what? That was a thought before the pandemic. I'm telling you, I'm thinking, oh, that would be so cool, especially if you can do it in New York City. Hello. My clients, I don't think you came here. I don't remember. No, no, no. You,
I
you saw
haven't
me
been
in
to your
Texas.
place, no.
But beautiful brownstone right across the street from me, Airbnb. And that's where my clients were. Yeah. Twice a year, every year. And man, I would look at the owner and go, "You are cleaning up, man." Because I paid him a chunk of money. Between me and my clients, paid him a chunk of money to have that whole bottom floor. And he still had 3 or 4 other floors to deal with. You know what I mean? So I would just look at him and go, "Someday that would be so cool." You know, and that's why I would call you and go, "Okay, how can I start this? I can't
Right.
start in New York. I gotta find some property somewhere." So I love it. So guys, I'm letting everyone know, if you're interested in the whole thing, talk to you.
Thanks. If you're
Yeah,
interested in
that's your
everything
thing.
else, talk to Marquesa.
Yes.
Well, because the thing is, Marquesa, you have so much um, breadth of experience. You've worked in a lot of different types of industries, and you have a lot of that kind of just how business works. And I think a lot of us, when we're starting off as entrepreneurs, we know how the business we came from works. And that might not even be what we want to get into. We just know, right? I just don't want to, like we were talking about before we started the recording, vacation time, right? Could either of us ever go back to a place where they tell you when you're going to take vacation?
Oh my gosh, no! I do not like to be told what to do. Yeah, it's
So
it's
many things
different.
you take for granted when you're
You
an
really
entrepreneur,
do.
and you think, okay, yeah, all right, so I'm going to go work for someone else. They're going to tell me what time I have to get there, what time I can leave, when I can go on vacation. Like, give me a break. Not only that, we get to decide who we work with. This is like a total pump for go May 2021, the year you become an entrepreneur, and kick your business, kick your job to the curb. No one gets to tell you nothing.
And I think people have more of an opportunity now to do that more than ever. I mean, people also want to work more now than ever, but I think individuals are realizing, "Ah, I got a talent. What is my true purpose?" Because again, it comes down to appreciating life like we never have before. We took for granted. Oh my gosh, we took. Yeah, I'm here next year. I'm only 50 something. But you just don't know. Every time I'm telling you, I'm turning off these door notifications on my phone. Every time I turn around, there's something else that comes across my phone. There's somebody that did not make it. So, um, maybe,
I
yeah.
read somewhere, and of course I forget the statistics because these things flow in and out of my brain very quickly, but there were more small businesses started this year than in like the last, I don't know, many years before.
All
So
right now. That's
yeah,
good. That's a good thing.
probably because of people maybe losing their jobs, but also, having now suddenly a little bit more time. A lot of us. I mean, certainly not if you're homeschooling your kids, you don't have a little more time. But
Yeah.
for folks like us who are single and who just suddenly have, no longer have to do any social activities outside. So
And I missed that. Oh my gosh. I
God, if
mean,
I
I
can't
thought,
get to the theater
ooh,
soon, I think I'm gonna die.
you do. I mean, and because Saturday was my, and I guess we got to start wrapping up so we can get to church.
Right.
Saturday was my self care day, Christina. I would, and I remember, I have to tell you this, I would get into it with my spin people because if I were late, they wouldn't let me into the spin class. I was like, excuse me, just because I'm 2 minutes late doesn't mean I can't come in. Miss Petway,
Good
we
luck.
can't let you
Sorry.
in if you're late. I remember being so mad at them. So literally, my spin class say would start at 8:30. I'd be I mean, I think I live about. It's gone. Unfortunately, it didn't make it through the pandemic, or they may have relocated. I don't know, and I was prepaid, but that's okay. If that
Oh,
blessed them, that's fine. But it's about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes from here. So that would give me credit. So I would go from here and walk over there. Then I would spin. Then I would leave and then walk to, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the gym for beginner people. Uh, play, plot, 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 some with a P or something. So I would go there and pretend to lift weights. Because I wanted to get toned. I would stand there like, okay, let me do this. I mean, seriously, I was just inspired to do that, and I did that for a while. Then I would walk about 30 more minutes more to get to Weight Watchers meeting. So it was a whole day of
nice,
self-care.
nice.
And and now I don't walk nearly as much. And I thought I was the only person that gained more weight than I care to admit. And it looks like it's affected a lot of people.
Well,
So
that's what the 19 is for. Everybody gained 19 pounds. COVID-19, yeah, that's the 19 pounds everybody gained.
yes, because you're not. I mean, I could literally work and work and work and work in my apartment for a good week and not even go outside. That is shameful. The least I can do is walk my butt up and down the stairs, just to get some points. And so these are things I'm going to kick off, Christine, while I'm on the ground. I need that time to do it.
So let me give you a thing that I did long, long ago, actually, on the podcast, and it's really very powerful. Every day. So you're going to start off the very first week of 2020, and you're going to walk or do some kind of whatever exercise you want to do for just 1 minute. The key is you have to get up 1 minute earlier, and you do your thing, and you just maybe this means you just put on your mask and
Oh, shake my butt. I love it. Put on some Beyonce or put on something and just shake
Yep.
my butt. I would love to do that. I used to do that in the middle of my street. People would be shocked, but I would do that.
See that?
I'm going to do it again.
Salary, you can start to charge admission. But then next week, 2 minutes. The next 3
Oh,
minutes. The next week, 4 minutes.
I can do that.
Exactly. You just spend for every day for the week, you just spend 1 minute doing whatever kind of exercise you want. And the next week you say, okay, 1 minute. That was so easy. I can't believe it. Now I'm going to do 2 minutes. I can handle 1 extra minute. And you're only adding 1 minute each week. But by the end of the year, you're doing almost an hour of exercise.
I like that. That's good. I think I can get back into it. And what I love about that is it's consistent.
Yep.
And you're growing, and it's a SMART goal. Specific, I mean, all those things, the whole formula. So I can certainly do. All right, I'm game.
Okay, cool. I'll be your
It's
accountability
on.
partner if you want.
Okay, seriously, seriously,
absolutely.
I am game because I like that. I like that idea, and it does take some pressure off. Where you're like, okay, I can do 2 minutes. I can do 3 minutes. I do. I think I like that. I like that. Plus, I have a beautiful. What do you call that? It's a beautiful trail across the street. And again, put on my mask and walk it. And it's so peaceful and gorgeous, and I miss it. And although it's cold, it ain't that cold yet. It really isn't. And I've lived in New York City so long. Please, do you think I'm allergic to the cold? Not even. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to reach out to you, and I got to make this happen. But hopefully all of your listeners and folks that get a chance to watch this will take some time and go underground at some point. And I do it again in the middle of the year. Sometimes it depends on the schedule, but my ideal month for 2021 would be August. because then that's right, because fall is always super busy and spring is always super busy, so the other time is right there in the middle of summer. But again, this is a new time, so I don't know. As long as it happens, I'm good. And I can't tell you enough to do it. If you need some more instruction or something on how to make this happen, please go to zoomqueen.com and or zoomlikeaboss.com, and I got a lot of freebies, and just keep up with it and just do it. It's not, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just take that time, and you'll see how much of a difference it makes. You really will.
Awesome. Marquesa, thank you so much for sharing all your end of year, beginning of year, and your, all year evergreen wisdom with us. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to see you again. And I hope you will take me up on my.
I am, Christine. I miss you. We used to see each other all the time. So I miss you. And your timing was interesting because I was done. Let me make this clear. I was done for the year. I did my last live stream. I just had Zoom Like a Boss Awards. I was like, I'm done. And then you send me a message, and people ask me often to do these things. But yours was very specific because you said, hey, I know you got an end of year process. And I'm like, and then I was gonna push it to the first week because I'm not gonna go underground until the second week of January. And I said, well, that's too late. So I want people to know it before then. So your timing was good.
This isn't going to air until I think the 13th of January, but it's perfect that it's already out there live on Zoom, on Facebook, and I'll actually make the YouTube live as well, because that way at least, you don't have to wait for the podcast.
Exactly.
Because it's perfect. It's so perfect that we're doing this on New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, Marquesa.
And how do people find your podcast, by the way?
Sorry?
How do people find your podcast and learn how to become a millionaire?
Well, it's everywhere, iTunes and Stitcher and every place you might listen to podcasts. It's called Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life Podcast. Ooh. If you don't want to search for it on iTunes or wherever, you can just go to the website, which is getyourfillpodcast.com. And you can stream the past. We're actually on you're going to be episode 70.
Wow. You go, girl. I remember when you first started.
Yeah.
I mean, and this woman, guys, was so shy. You were so shy. Look at you now.
Look out. Look out.
Look at you. You are amazing. I'm so proud of you. You have come a long way. You're just just talking and conversing. You go. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You are definitely part of the reason for any success I will have in the future and today.
I appreciate it. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop my recording here.
Okay. Oh, and I got to stop live stream. Bye, y'all.
Bye,
and happy almost New Year. Like, woohoo. There's no 2021 glasses, but happy almost New Year. Like, oh my gosh. But I got to get to church, so we're going to stop the live stream, guys.